Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Expert. We are very pleased today to have Bob LeBrun. He is the Chief Accounts Manager at ROXTEC. Bob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Appreciate you being on today, and look forward to getting into these questions. Can we just start? Let's get right off the bat. Can you describe to our viewers who may not know what do you guys exactly do, and what are some of the principal industries that you serve?
Sure. ROXTEC is a manufacturer, a global manufacturer of a product that is designed to seal cables or pipes as they penetrate from one environment to another. And our sole goal is to protect life and assets by keeping those two areas separated from gas, fire, water, etc. And we do it. It's a unique system that incorporates basically three components in a system. Where we have some type of a frame where the cables or pipes pass through, a unique modular system that goes around and can be adapted in the field, and then a way to compress everything so you achieve that fire stop, gas tight, water tight seal. But the whole goal is to protect life and assets from anything penetrating into one environment to the next.
You talk about environment and kind of the principal industries. Is there? Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that some?
Sure. We primarily got our start in the marine and offshore oil and gas markets, and then the company just turned 25. And at this point in time, marine and offshore oil and gas still are our two main focuses, as well as onshore oil and gas, construction, OEM, which is rail, wind power, etc., and then telecom and industrial construction.
Okay. Now, are you guys, you said offshore, are y'all specifically in the U.S., or do you guys have an international presence? Or?
Well, we definitely have an international presence, 25 different wholly owned offices around the world. And one of our core values is locally global. And so depending upon where a project, so often these projects are specified in one part of the world, designed in another part, built in another area. So our global footprint gives us access to make sure that we're covering all aspects of the design and build phase.
So I guess you see that as a benefit or advantage of being international. You kind of get a scope from each area?
Yeah, absolutely. And what makes us really unique in that field is we're the only ones who do what we do, focusing on seals for pipes and cables, and that's all we do.
Okay.
It makes us quite unique.
No, that's really good. Now, I always talk about this industry specifically is the heart of our economy, but a lot of people don't know what it is. So can you kind of tell us, do you guys have any high-profile projects or anything that just kind of an average person watching this may recognize?
Yeah, quite a few of them. Probably, one that just comes to mind is like the Big Dig in Boston, when they had all the problems with the water coming down and leaking in and big chunks of concrete falling down. We were able to go in there and work with those people in order to just solve the problems. And so often that's where ROXTEC actually gets involved, is whenever there's a problem. The more demanding the application, generally the better fit we are. But the Big Dig, we're in a lot of newly designed, nuclear facilities around the world.
Okay.
A lot of offshore oil and gas markets. You mentioned big oil and gas names. We work with a lot of those companies. A lot of the time when we get involved, like I said initially, it's because there's a problem. If we can get involved at the design stage, much better, because our whole system is designed around planning for future capacity and changes at the time of design. So we really try to get in at the design level, but we've also got a lot of products that are designed for retrofits that go back in and solve problems.
Okay. So do you guys see that? Do you see, like, kind of what you're talking about there, maybe more of a specific need, or a custom need? But do you guys have, would you classify, did you do more custom work? Do you guys do more process-driven work? What reasons do you see for each one of those?
Great question. Our product, I'll just show you just a quick snapshot of it, but Let's see if you can see this here. And the reason I wanted to show you this was our product, and what makes this unique is these modules, and they have layers in them, and the layers peel out so that you can, I don't know if you can see that.
Can you up it just a little bit? Yeah, there you go, perfect.
There we go. The layers peel out so that you can adapt in the field exactly what diameter it is that you're trying to seal.
Cool, okay.
Whether it's a cable or a pipe. And this gives people a lot of flexibility. And where that really comes in handy is when they don't necessarily know what they're going to be running into.
Right.
And a lot of times what's designed and what's used in the field, there's a compromise, a give and take.
Yeah.
And we provide a lot of flexibility. So when we talk about a standard product or a retrofit type item, it probably follows along the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time we can take something off the shelf because it's got so much flexibility to it. But about 20% of the time, we'll end up coming up with customized solutions that are really designed to solve a specific problem, and they've got a set. Their situation is such that they've got what they've got, and we need to operate within that. And that's about 20% of the time. So a lot of that doesn't change this part of it, the modular part of it, so much. What changes is different types of frames.
Right.
And we can adapt and build just about any type of frame at all in order to house the modular system and be able to run those cables and pipes.
So obviously, as we try to set ourselves apart from the competition, it sounds like the flexibility is probably what makes you guys really unique in the market, I would guess.
Yes, very much so, very much so. We can do some things that really nobody else can. The way that the system works, I'll show you one more.
Sure.
One more sample just so you can see it, actually. This is a typical example of the frame that houses the modules where the cables or pipes pass through. And then you've got a component that compresses everything, the wedge right here at the top, okay? And these can be side by side. They can go, we've done them upwards of 20 feet in length, just side by side or up and down. So, to seal an area that maybe, let's just say the size of a 4x8 sheet of plywood, you just use multiples of these.
Right.
So you can seal it anywhere from one to literally hundreds, if not thousands, of cables in the system. So it gives a lot of flexibility. But I would say, to answer your question, the majority of the time, standard solutions are going to work fine. But anytime there's a retrofit, it's just a matter of understanding what the customer is doing. And that's where the communication really picks up.
Sure.
And we're working with design guys much of the time in order to solve problems.
So ROXTEC, you guys are going to be at a show in Dallas and Houston, I think in May. Can you give us a glimpse of what those conventions will provide for the specific industries?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of things that we're always coming up with newer products,
Sure.
New products, really kind of driven by the market. And it's great, ROXTEC, that you can do this and you were able to help us out in this. But do you have a standard product offering that can go ahead and help us out on a regular basis? And so a lot of our newer products are actually designed by our customers. For example, one of the products that we'll have at the show, it's been out for a couple of years now, is our BG product, which is the same as the modular system that I showed you earlier, but it incorporates a bonding and grounding system in it.
Okay.
So it actually takes the place of a connection.
Okay.
And so a lot of these types of systems that are used in like Class 1, Div 2 applications, it takes the place of the gland itself.
Okay.
And so it's very, very unique. It still provides everything that the standard environmental seal does, but it also incorporates bonding and grounding. And that'll be there. It's a very, very cost-effective way to look at bonding and grounding, because it allows them to run a lot more cables in a very confined area, which is critical. Space in that industry is vital. And
Sure.
So we can shrink it down and usually save about 50% of the space, which is considerable.
Yeah, absolutely. That has to be a huge advantage. Now, is there anything, just kind of as we sum up, is there any kind of initiative that your company is actively doing. Do you guys specify anything that you'd like to share with us before we go?
Sure. You'll be the first to see this. This is
cool.
actually a new product that we're coming up with. And what it is, it's a pipe seal.
Awesome.
And what's different about it for us is all of our standard systems incorporate multi-diameter. But a lot of times for pipe, you don't need that.
Right.
So what this does is it allows them to cut a hole in a piece of steel, anywhere from about, roughly 1/4 to 3/8 inch thick steel, primarily used a lot in the marine and offshore markets, where they can cut a hole in the bulkhead or use a mag drill and pop this inside, and there's no welding involved.
Wow, that's great.
Tighten it up. And the real advantage to it is no hot work.
Right.
And no hot work, it just saves a lot of money.
Sure.
And like I said, this product, the BG product, this will be promoted fairly heavily at the show in Texas. It's very, very unique. There's nothing like it in the marketplace right at this point in time. So a lot of advantages to the customers.
Well, that's great. Well, Bob, listen, we've really enjoyed having you on. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we go?
Probably the biggest thing is ROXTEC also has what we call a ROXTEC Transit Designer. And you can just go to our website and click onto it. But the nice thing about it is it's designed to be intuitive so that it can lead the customer through to select the right type of product for their application. And they just put in a little bit of information, and it kind of boils down, takes everything out, so they don't need to know that much about it in order to come up with a solution. But they can drive from there right down into the engineering details, the tests and the certifications, etc. But so much of it, they don't even need to know all of that. They can just pick up the phone and give us a call. It's just 1-800-4ROXTEC, and we can answer a lot of technical questions. But we try to take something that's fairly complicated and simplify it.
Well, that's great.